Welcome to part 3. 1 year can change your entire life. 1 year can shift the direction of your life. After hearing no from supervisor after supervisor, I gave it my all, but in that moment, guys, I was like, maybe it's not working. I was gonna give up. I was like, let me just go back home. Maybe this is not for me. This is not working. But before leaving, I decided to try one last time, and this time the answer was different. I walked up to one Chinese supervisor and I asked if he needed someone to work, and the answer was different. He said yes. He said yes, and just like that, I got my first real job. You can imagine coming from like zero background, zero nothing. You don't have any experience, no nothing, no school or whatever, no skill, and somebody just offers you a job without any papers. No, just like go there with your NRC. That was an achievement for me in that moment. I was like, okay, I can finally earn my own money without waiting for someone to give me. That gave me the hope and the motivation. The Chinese supervisor he was a plumber and he was an electrician, and my role was very simple. I prepared pipes by measuring them and making threads so that the plumbers could easily install the pipes in the houses they were building. It wasn't a glamorous job. It wasn't a white collar job. I wasn't sitting in an office, and I wasn't getting paid a lot of money. In fact, I was earning a 20 kwacha a day when I started that job. 20 kwacha every day was my salary. The day that I never went for work, the salary never counted. That was the rules of the job. So you only get paid when you show up. But for me, that job meant everything because I came from a background where I had no direction. I never knew how my life would be. I never had any ideas of what would come next. University wasn't clear. Opportunities were very scarce, and I finally got to be in a position where I'm able to earn even as little as I can. That meant everything, and from that moment on, I started growing. For the first time since finishing school, I felt like I was moving forward. Worked hard, I showed up every day, I gave it my all, and the jobs that I learned from that construction company, I learned how to operate the threading machine. I learned how to I learned plumbing in general. I did all the plumbing works at this school I put above here. I know every line, every water line, every sewer line, all the toilet fans and everything. I was supervising the works here because at that point I had known the work, and some of the colleagues that I found who were already working there, most of them stopped, and I remained as a trustee to that Chinese because I think I was almost over a year with him. I worked with him for over a year. So he taught me these kind of jobs over the plumbing, the waterworks, the some of the electrical conduits. He taught me how to put all those kind of works. I learned so many things from him, and I was just learning. I wanted to learn as much as I could because I didn't have any direction of where I was gonna go. So I was like, wherever life takes me, maybe this could help me. So I put my all in it. At the time, I thought I had finally found stability. But after working there for quite some time, I started asking myself questions like, okay, so this construction site, the moment we are done building this boarding school, these people are gonna move on to the next point. How is my life going to be? When I asked myself those questions, I think my brain started opening up, and I finally got to the point where because where I come from, somebody who was working in a mine was considered to be, uh, to be there. Like, okay, they are stable because they have a job in the mines, they are protected, kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, uh, the next payment I'm getting, I'm taking all of it to go and get a city courses. Uh, the next payment I'm gonna get, I'm going to get my grade 12 certificate because I had credits at school. So I had to finish paying so that I get the certificate. So I got paid time. I went to do a city courses test. Likely I passed it, came out okay. I was fine and everything was okay. I was happy. I felt that, you know, to say, okay, at least I have this document. So now let me go and get my grade 12 certificate. Once I get it, I will start applying at the mines. And I had targets. I was targeting the most target I was targeting was Chambish Copper Smelter and NFCA. At that time, Churuma Mines was almost closing, so I was like, this side I can't because they are about to close. So these were my two main mines, and just some other mines that I tried. But the moment I got my grade 12 certificate, and I knew I already had my civil courses, I wrote 10 application letters, 10 of them, and I took them to my friend who was already working at Chambish Copper Smelter, and I gave another person I knew was working at NFCA five. So I gave five to one who was going to CCS, and I gave five to one who was going to NFCS. I was like, wherever they call me, I'm gonna go and face the interview. I'm ready for whatever comes. And I continuously did that. I used to give them at least maybe two, three envelopes taking my application letters for, I think, for 6 months while I was working at the construction site. So each when I had a chance, I would give them application letters because the only thing I was thinking about when I'm at the site was I want to go and work in the mines. I want to go and work in the mines so that I won't remain stranded if these people finish the contract and they decided to leave and uh, leave all of us, because Chinese do that. Wherever they go, they will hire new employees, they will teach them the job, and yeah, they'll move on to the next point. I had no idea that that small construction job would eventually lead me to the mines where another chapter of my life was about to begin. Looking back, that construction site taught me one of the important lessons that I've learned in my life journey. You don't have to start big; you just have to start.